Global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned. Hello guys, welcome to Global Happenings Today. We've got a trending news here for you, and the headline of the news reads, Breaking news, Buhari release Sowore or face mass nation protest. See details. But before we continue with details of the news, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button and also on the bell icon so that you can get notification anytime we publish videos on YouTube. All right, let's listen to the news.
Prominent civil society organizations in Nigeria have threatened to go on a nationwide protest in 14 days if Omoyele Sowore, who has been rearrested despite a valid bail, is not released by the Department of State Services (DSS). Yemi Ademolekun, Executive Director of Enough is Enough Nigeria, while addressing journalists at a press briefing in Abuja on Monday, said the protesters in Abuja would picket state offices of the National Human Rights Commission (NHRC) across the country. Other CSOs at the press conference, including Amnesty International (AI), Nigeria Center for Democracy and Development (CDD), the Transition Monitoring Group (TMG), Concerned Nigerians, and Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center (CIS-LAC). Tomorrow, December 10, the world will celebrate Human Rights Day. It will also be marked in Nigeria as we review the crackdown of freedom of the flesh, proposed bills to curb dissent, and a general environment of shrinking civic space, of which the recent actions of our security agents is just an example. Ademolekun said, as she read a joint statement titled Nigeria's Struggling State of Affairs. We represent a core section of Nigerian civil society actors that have played various roles in Nigeria's journey to civic rule. Two key issues are of concern to us, namely attack on our judiciary and attack on free speech and hazard of silencing dissent. The groups announced 5 demands and gave an ultimatum of 14 days for them to be met. The demands included that the President Muhammad Buhari shows accountability and addresses the nation on his commitment to the rule of law and human rights, and that all illegal detainees under the DSS revealed by AI, that's Amnesty International, and various media reports be released. They also asked the government to obey the all pending court orders, conduct an investigation of officers who violated protocol and circumstances leading to Omoyele Sowore's second arrest, and unconditionally release Sowore subject to his bail terms. Awola Musa Rafsanjani, CIS-LAC Executive Director, urged Nigerians to see the duty of holding government accountable as a collective responsibility because all of us are in danger. He said, if you're a journalist and you are doing your job and your work, you are in trouble in this country. If you are in civil society demanding accountability, transparency, and good governance, you are in trouble. If you're a decent, ordinary citizen who just wants to be law-abiding, you are in trouble. So it is all a collective crisis we find ourselves. It is not about the people seated here. It's about our country and our people. And this time, people who are perpetrating this brutality yesterday, they were crying. In 2015, when DSS invaded APC data center, they were crying. In fact, Lai Mohammed was shouting that this is the worst thing that has ever happened in Nigerian history. But today, they all keep quiet. In fact, justifying this gross violent violation of fundamental human rights in Nigeria. Sowore, publisher of Sahara Reporters and convener of Revolution Now campaign, was arrested in August according to DSS because he called for a revolution and for threatening public safety, peaceful coexistence, and social harmony in the country. He has been granted bail twice by the Federal High Court and was eventually released on Thursday after the court fined it for contempt. But the following day, immediately after the court proceedings, operatives of DSS again arrested the Sahara Reporter publisher and activist.
All right, thank you very much for helping us to read out the news. We just want to look at these critically because this is a very serious issue. And I think that right now, a lot of predictions that we've been having ever since all of this started, early months of this year, there had been a lot of prediction that it may result in widespread protests, which may not augur well for the government of the day. And we are almost seeing ourselves there. One of the things that is most important here is the fact that even when the government have distanced itself, that these people are carrying out their own responsibility. That is one of their job functions, to carry out arrest and all of that. But, owing to the fact that the DSS guys, they have gone beyond their bounds. They have done what is globally unaccepted. Globally unaccepted, number one, is releasing a man a night before, and then barely 12 hours, you pick up that same person that you release. And secondly, the issue of desecrating the court by going in there during, court proceeding, and arresting a man, causing even the justice who was in charge, Justice Ijoma, who was in charge, to call off all other cases, because I believe she must have perceived that if she stays back or if she continues with the proceeding, there may likely be issue of unrest, and that's why she had to call it off. And all of these issues were meant to be formally addressed in the sense that this is a democratic setting and things must be done the way it ought to be done. The people who are on board today, talking about the APC government, there was a time they were outside there. And I could still remember in 2015 when there was a nationwide protest registering their displeasure that things were not done the right way, and they were demanding that things should be done. Sowore was there. Wole Soyinka was there. The current President Muhammadu Buhari, was also present, and nothing happened. Now, also, some years ago, I think 2015, when their own data center was invaded, I'm talking about APC data center, was invaded, there was a cry out. The likes of Lai Mohammed, everybody was screaming. This kind of a thing has never happened. Okay, that will happen in your own time, and Nigerians scream also alongside you. And we were expecting that as they are coming on board, the rule of law will be highly respected. What's the rule of law? It's the supremacy of the law over everyone. In other words, when you're talking about the rule of law or respecting the rule of law, it means every court order as it is being given, irrespective of your position, as long as you are in Nigeria, you are not above the law of Nigeria. Therefore, means that if court orders are given speedily, it is carried out. And the case of Sowore too was given, and nothing was done about it. Now, these guys have gathered from different people from different quarters. They have decided to register their displeasure, and they are demanding that if the government do not release Sowore between now and 14 days, there's going to be a nationwide protest. And this is not just one single individual coming up with this kind of saying. It's amalgamation, a coming together. They are now a confederacy, coming together. And I don't think that the government will be able to stop this, because no matter how strong you are, if you can stop these guys, I can assure you that individually there will be protests in different respects. And most of them that are here are not just ordinary people. A lot of them are lawyers. Don't forget also that we've already published that video that tomorrow is going to be Fundamental Human Rights Day, where there's going to be a fundamental human rights activists are going to gather in different quarters to talk and educate Nigerians about how to defend their own fundamental human rights. And they're not just going to be talking to grown men and all of that. Youths from universities, from polytechnics, from different schools will be invited. And it will be clearly, Falana will be the one who will be in the lead. He's going to be talking to them about different things and on how our rights have been trampled upon. And this is happening when Sowore has been rearrested. suggestion that I will give, which I believe that if the government give an understanding to this, it will help a great deal, is for them to be this night, before tomorrow morning when this meeting will hold. No need of trying to use violence to coerce these people, because if you're trying to use violence, it's a clear indication that, number one, that you're practicing dictatorship, which cannot suffice now that the world has globally recognized Nigeria as a democratic country. So, suggestion to the current government is at least someone more formal, even if it's the vice president, the president can come on board and begin to tell Nigerians things to show that you have respect for the law, to show that you have respect for the people that you are serving. We took you there. You didn't put yourself there. And you are not greater than any Nigerian. That's the truth of the matter. No Nigerian is greater than the other person. We are, before the eyes of the law, we are totally equal. And in as much as we are equal, the law expects that whatever jurisdiction, whatever decision it makes concerning a particular person must be respected. So some of these things should be ironed out between now and when the Fundamental Human Rights Day will kick off, which is tomorrow, where these people would spend time to inform Nigerians about how they can defend their human rights. Some of these things must be done right so that we can stop all these issues issues are everywhere in Nigeria. And it's not really good enough,
Well, for me, I feel that this is coming at the right time, really. Nigeria is long overdue for this. It's in Nigeria that we get to see that the leaders are more powerful than the electorate. I was baffled one of these days when I watched where Donald Trump was inside the field with other fellow American citizens. They were booing him with a song. In fact, they used the word like shame, shame, shame. He didn't cough. He didn't do ahem. He was smiling. Will you try it in Nigeria? And if DSS will not put treasonable felony on your head and tell you that you have insulted and sabotaged the president, it's not done anywhere. I think it's about time this should happen. Sowore called for revolution, peaceful protest. It's treasonable felony. Imagine if all Nigerians go out for protest. All Nigerians are treasonable. It will now become all Nigerians are now liable to firing squad. Let's begin to take the challenge we have in Nigeria is politicians have successfully, the leaders have successfully divided us in Nigeria into two lines, religious and ethnicity, whereby if it is before you know it, all the northern people will say, is our own brother standard, they will not come and do protest, we will not go. The next thing you may see a protest saying we don't like another arranged group from somewhere will come and say, no, they should take Sowore and keep him in detention. You now ask, what is the yardstick for their protest? Just organized audio group just to negate the true rule of law. What those people said, they combined CS with civil society, is nothing but the truth. Let's leave sentiment. Imagine if they had patched that hate speech into law. Imagine if there was no outcry. Imagine the likes of Deja did not come out and say, no. The one marched down to NAS, Abuja, and said, this bill must not even see the light of the day. If not, imagine you want to say something, they loot so much and you want to cough. The next thing you say, now wow, our people are really trying. They just take the money, let them take another money. You can't even talk because constructive criticism is not allowed. What else do you need when international bodies, United senators have, United States senators have condemned in bold terms, said, look, release Sowore, he needs to go to his people, and every other people who are freedom fighters, which is very entrenched in our law. But yet, instead of them even saying something about it, they even wrote an open letter to them and saying, look, he was a politician. Whether or not he's a politician, there was a court order. Release him first. And the next thing we're hearing that DSS is above the law by technical explanation that they are a body. Are they not supposed to be subject to the rule of law? It's in Nigeria we begin to hear things that are so wonderful. And these things ought to be corrected. Power should be returned back to the electorate where it began from the beginning. That's what democracy meant. Power to the people, for the people, and by the people. Not power to the politicians and the electorate become slaves. It's not done. It's in Nigeria we see things that are abominable. And we call ourselves a democratic state. You talk, you die. You don't talk, you die. It's so wrong. Honestly, I buy the idea. The question now is, will Nigerians come out truly for this protest? We don't know yet, but time will tell.
All right, thank you very much. I believe that this protest is for the generality of the Nigerian people. We are looking at having, at least this should be corrected. If you go down and immediately after this was published on the internet, there have been a lot of reactions by Nigerians, and I've gone through it. And I realized that out of all the people that have responded, at least more than 80% of them are in support of the protest, that they are tired of what is currently going on in the country. And most of the respondents are not even supporters of PDP. Most of them are supporters of APC. Now, understand that Amnesty International and other civil society organizations that have come together to, inform the whole world about this, they are totally apolitical. But hey, they are there to protect the right of the citizen, and they are tired of what is currently going on. That is why they are giving the Nigerian government the ultimatum of 14 days to release Sowore. No strings attached. Just release the guy. We want to see that the rule of law is being respected. We want to see that court orders are given ultimate respect. And I think this is also a good time for NBA. I'm talking about the Nigerian Bar Association to join their voice so that they will get back the respect for their profession. No, judiciary shouldn't be sleeping. They should be talking this time around. They should prove to the world that they are also one of the arms of government who have been charged with the responsibility of interpreting and protecting the law. They shouldn't just be keeping quiet and just be watching things. If there is a way of them writing straight to these people, to the legislature, they should do same. I just saw a write-up that a particular NBA had written that if Sowore is not being released, or if DSS man is not being picked, that's Yusuf, is not being sacked, that the legislature should pass vote of no confidence on the president. They should start a process of impeachment against the president. But the person now said that just this morning, it was written in the night, only this morning for it to be deleted. The post was deleted, and then there was a retraction later sent to the federal government that the person who wrote that thing didn't have the power to write it. They are now showing that they're really scared, that they didn't have the power to write it, and that they are very sorry for that kind of write-up. It's a clear indication that you don't even know your right. It comes a time whereby you fight for the future. I know in Nigeria is one country that everybody thinks about himself, or me alone, or without me, nothing again. This is not the time, because we are looking at the future of our children. Nobody's going to cause any chaos and run away to any place. Nigeria is our country. We must make it better on a daily basis so that our children will grow up to see the strife of their fathers and respect us for that. That is overly important. We'd like to leave it there. Go to our comment section. Do you think that Nigerians will buy into the nationwide protests that have been promised the federal government if they do not release Sowore? Let's interact.